Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Academy of the Mental Arts. My name is Tim, the headmaster at the Academy, and super happy to have you guys back because we are continuing our series on the 12 stages of the hero's journey, particularly how they fit into the curriculum here at the Academy, which is a life coaching academy that I started that is dedicated to helping you awaken the hero within. And sorry if my boys are making music. This is Sebastian and Orange. Yeah, they're cool. But they are noisemakers, so if you hear anything in the background, it's them. So we left off talking about the first initial principles of the first stages, right? When you practice a principle, it is made into a subconscious habit, and that's how it becomes a virtue. So we practiced honesty in the first stage in the ordinary world so that we could gain awareness and mindfulness and honesty as virtues to use to be able to realize that we're even in a comfort zone or a pattern of past behaviors, emotions, thought forms, core beliefs, cognitive distortions. There's so much that can be revealed through honesty. That's why it's the most important thing to start with. You need honesty or else none of this will work. So honesty is the first principle for a reason because of that. But if you guys have been practicing honesty and using journaling as a way to really hone in on your honesty and paying attention of the patterns of behavior, emotions, and thoughts, then you'll be far closer to obtaining it as a virtue. Once you obtain honesty as a virtue, you'll be able to witness moments, people, situations that give you hope. And hope could also come from within through a realization that I don't want to do this anymore, that whatever the ordinary world was for you, and I know that there's a better way. And knowing that, or at least, believing that there could be a better way, and opening yourself up to the possibility that not everything is hopeless will give you hope. Putting yourself around other people that have done the work and have pulled themselves out or had somebody help them get pulled out of what's called the bottomless pit is great because they can give you hope. They are mentors for you. So that being said, once you obtain hope and practice it so that it becomes a virtue, now you have honesty and hope. What do you do with honesty and hope? Honesty and hope can give you the third principle, which is called faith. Faith in yourself, faith also, more importantly, in something greater than yourself, because it's yourself that got you stuck in the bottomless pit, got you stuck in the ordinary world. The vicious cycle that seems like it's never ending. Sometimes it's ourselves that keep us in that cycle, so we need something greater than ourselves to pull us out of that. So what can you put your faith into? What can you completely trust? Can you trust a physical thing? We tend, as humans, that's something common that we look towards to give us temporary relief. But the thing about physical things is that they're bound by time and space. So they're going to run out, and there's only so much of it that'll last before you need more and more and more. And then now you're in another bottomless pit to escape the other bottomless pit or ordinary world that's uncomfortable, even though it's a comfort zone. So that's why you should put your faith in something of a spiritual nature. Something that is spiritual is not bound by time and space. So it has to be something that gives you a feeling of hope and something that you feel like you can rest upon, something that is of a solid nature, solid ground, meaning it's not going to change on you. That's why it's important to pick something spiritual. So in a lot of different, places and groups, and this is the part of the journey where you have to really make a decision to completely turn your will over to trusting in something greater than yourself. And some people call it a higher power. I'm not going to tell you what higher power should be, but you definitely should start placing your faith in something that is greater than just you. Because it's also important, though, to put your faith in yourself, because If you don't have faith in yourself, then you're keeping a form of denial against you, which is saying that I can't do it, I'm not good enough. These are cognitive distortions. These aren't real, because every human is capable of having faith in themselves, turning it around, and changing, because there's plenty of people out there that have done it. And you can definitely do it too, but not until you fully get honest with yourself, which opens you up to realizing, oh dang, I had some core beliefs that aren't even true. I had some core beliefs that went against my spirit, went against that part of me that doesn't change, that part of you that is like a fire, or it's a flame within you that was hidden by these thought forms, but it's still there, and it's always been there, and it's waiting to catch fire and give you that faith in yourself that you know you need. So faith is trust in the unseen, the unknown, and also the higher path, right? Because when the call to adventure presents itself to you in the second stage, right? Because first it's becoming aware of your ordinary world, then the universe, God, will show you there's a way out, and it's called the call to adventure. It's a perilous quest because it's not easy to leave your comfort zone. It's immediately going to bring up the feeling of fear and discomfort, because you feel safe in your ordinary world because it's known. But eventually you will feel the need to escape this ordinary world. The adventure will present itself, and then as soon as it does, a lot of times stage 3 of the hero's journey then comes right after, which is refusal of the call. The refusal of the call is basically you saying to yourself, whoa, I don't know if I can do this, or this is scary, or something might happen to me, or I'm safer here. Or it could be other people in your ear telling you that you shouldn't do that, why even try, and just spreading doubt and the energy of hopelessness upon you, which is not the type of energy that you need in order to become the person that you really want to be free from this stagnation, the status quo, the cage of the ordinary world, and the cycles that go along with it that put you in what's called a bottomless pit until you hit a rock bottom most of the time, which forces you to become aware, which forces you to become honest, and forces you to realize that I need to make a change. Knowing that you can make a change will bring hope. Then it's time for the third principle, which is faith. Because faith is what will carry you through the rest of your journey. Faith in yourself, faith in something greater than yourself. You just need to have faith. And once you do, you need to realize that you were lacking faith before, and not necessarily in God, but in themselves, in purpose, and in greater meaning. So a lot of you may feel like there's a meaninglessness that plagues you. But this is okay, because you're on the journey to find that inner meaning, right? So faith is not available, though, first, unless you have the awareness, the honest, radical mindfulness to be able to see where your fear-driven responses reside, your false beliefs in yourself, programs of fear. So the refusal of the call is a moment where denial breaks and the fear is exposed, but you need to be able to differentiate between what is real fear and what is assumption. Because a real fear means my life is actually in danger. That's a healthy fear. But assumptions govern most of the fears we have. And a lot of them aren't even related to our life being in danger. It could be, just fear of shame, fear of judgment, fear of, perhaps not being around if I do certain things, or if I am honest, maybe I'll get abandoned or exposed like this. And these are all assumptions that we make to protect ourselves. And those things fuel denial, fuel deception, fuel all the things that we don't want to be. And I will break down the rest of this in the next one because I'm already at 10 minutes. So thank you guys for joining me again. Sebastian says, see ya. We'll see you on the next one.